Grill Sergeant here. What's going on, Grill Billies? You might not know this, but I am a huge Weber fan. You don't have to squint hard to know that I love cooking on Weber kettles. Now, one thing I really like about Weber kettles is their one-touch cleaning system. Little flick of the wrist, and you can empty out that pan, and it makes dealing with ash at the end of your cook a breeze. Now, I've had this Weber Performer probably for about a year now, and we're basically going to give this Weber one-touch cleaning system a tune-up so she can give me another awesome year of grilling fun. All right, guys, let's start the show. I don't know if you're familiar with the story If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, but the premise of the story is that if you give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna need a glass of milk, and if you give him milk, he's gonna need XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And that's pretty much how today's video came about. My wife in the morning said, hey, can you put your grill cover on this Performer? Sure. But I thought, if I'm going to put the grill cover on, might as well empty out the ash pan first. But if I'm gonna empty out the ash pan, I might as well just give a light cleaning on the inside. And if I'm gonna give a light cleaning on the inside, I'm going to, it basically just went down this rabbit hole to where I decided, you know what, today we're just gonna give a tune-up to the one-touch cleaning system. Now, the system itself is very simple. You basically move the lever back and forth a few times, and there's these three arms that basically kind of scrape the dirt, debris, and charcoal, and then it drops down into the air vents and it collects it into a pan. Very simple, just dump the pan out. But over time, what I found is you'll start accumulating like a grease and fat layer at the bottom. And it's just small, but it just starts out, you know, a thin layer of grease, and then on top of that, you basically have your charcoal, soot, and dust. And then on your next cook, does another tiny layer of grease, more charcoal soot that it can't catch up. And what it starts doing is your arms that are using as the cleaner, it starts getting really hard to move it. Little elbow grease and those arms start moving again. But what happens is they actually start folding upward. It gets to the point where it's really hard to move, and you actually go in there and you basically take a razor scraper and basically just scrape all that gunk off. We're talking like taking 1/4 inch of just nastiness off. Now the problem you're left with is your arms are already bent up, so now they're no longer in contact with the kettle lid. So I'm going to show you how to basically take this, clean it, and address that bent arm issue. So let's look under the hood. Feels weird saying that, it's not a car. Let's look under the kettle. So to bring you up to speed with where we're at, you basically have these arms that make up the one-touch cleaning system. So what I did is I took a razor scraper and some degreaser, and you basically work your way down. Now, I didn't have to do the entire bowl. You can if you want. A lot of people say that this traps in certain flavors and aromas and stuff like that. You want to keep your cleaning of your kettle to a minimum, but when it gets hard to use your one-touch cleaning system, you kind of have to just get in there. And so basically a little degreaser, a razor scraper. I will post a link to a video where I show you how to do this in detail. I restored a Weber kettle, and so there you can pretty much see the practice of cleaning the inside of the bowl. But just to bring you up to speed, is basically going in here and getting up all the gunk. I also did it to the sides of the arms. That's pretty much where we're at. But I don't know if you can see it, and you can kind of see it in here. Now we're left, I can push it down, and probably there's a good 1/4 inch gap from where that grease layer used to be. And that's a bit of a problem, because now if we use our one-touch cleaning system, oh man, this feels like it's brand new, like it's sliding. Only issue is it's not gonna make any contact with the actual kettle, and so you're going to build up a lot of gunk, grease, and debris a lot faster. And so a trick I found to actually get these arms to basically be flush with the kettle without having to take everything apart, it's pretty simple. All you need is some shims. Now, I think you might only need 2 shims, but I did bring out 4 in total, just in case we need a little bit more leverage. But I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, and we're gonna see if we can get these arms flush to the kettle wall again. So to do this, I'm going to measure about 2 inches from the thinnest point. I'm basically going to snap it off there. It doesn't have to be clean. We only need maybe about that much, but so anywhere with that size. So I'm going to do all 4. And so now we basically have shims, and now we're going to bring them inside the kettle and we're going to discard these. All right, so I'm going to start off with 2 here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here, and I have the thicker point facing in. What I'm going to do is basically slide this and just get it right underneath here. Now, if there was more room, I maybe can. You know, I'll probably just lift that up now. So I have a thin point of one end, the thick point of the other, and I'm going to do that to the other side. And get this underneath here, like so. Then I'm going to lift this up a little bit. Here, get this under. And now what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to push down. I'm just going to push down, push down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out. Now, do you see that sound? So now you have here, you have 1/4 inch gap, and then here, there's no movement. It's pretty much flush. And so now what I'm going to do is do it to each side. So I'll come in here, lift this up a little bit, and then you want it at closest to the base as possible. We're going to go on to the other side. So we'll do thick side down, and then come in here with the thin side. And then all I'm going to do is basically just push this down. Push, push, push. Okay, and now slide these out. And they're going to be a lot harder to get out, but you're going to here. There we go. Look at that's flush. Now we just have this one that's thickest part down. Thickest part down. Thin piece. Thin piece. Now we're going to push down. Push down. Oof. Just like that. And then take this out. Take this out. Take this out. Take that out. And now, let's move our one touch. Now you have a huge difference. So now it's actually contacting the kettle wall. And so now when you have, say, dust and debris in here, we'll actually then move it, as opposed to where it was thicker, that it would basically just slide underneath. And the cool thing is, you didn't have to actually disassemble any of this. So quick scrape, put the wedges under here, push those down, take the wedges out, and then you are good to go. So this one, flush, flush. There's still a little play in this one. I'm gonna see if I can come in here and just see if we can push this down just a little bit more. There we go. Push down, push down. There. So now, beautiful. All right, and that's pretty much it. Now, the only other thing that you might want to look at is if you have a lot of gunk down in your actual ash pan, you can basically clear it out, dump it out, and then take a razor scraper. And if there's any grease or residue or buildup, you can basically scrape that out. You don't have to get this super clean. Again, it is just an ash catch, so you don't have to spend too much TLC here, but once this is clean, and then once your one-touch system is clean, it just makes it that much easier to use. So if you think about it, the one-touch system also helps deal with airflow, and so you want to make sure that those vent handles are actually close to the kettle as possible, so you can really dial in those air settings. And again, when you're done using your kettle, if you basically shut off the bottom vents, shut off the top, the more airtight it is, the quicker your charcoal can go out, and the more of it you can reuse for next time. So something to think about. So if you have a dirty kettle, think about watching this video and giving your one-touch cleaning system a little TLC and tune-up. All right, guys, catch you on the next episode. Grill Sergeant out. Boom! All right, now I can put the cover on. 5 hours later. Psh. Let me know in the comments, do you guys actually cover your kettles? I find if I cover them, you know, to me it's weird. Kettles are like dust magnets. When I put a cover on them, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like if you do a nice clean, put a cover on it, when you rip that cover off, ooh, she is dialed and ready to use. But to each their own. All right, guys, cheers.